than that. That's the challenge, you know. I was around motorcycles, I mean, since I can remember, really. It's kind of been in my blood. When I was 18, it was like a drug addiction, man. Nothing else in my life really mattered a whole lot. It was like, I'm gonna go out and ride and race and try and win. So that's what I did for about 10 years. And I didn't know I was gonna be a national champion, and I didn't know that I'd end up winning national road races and breaking track records and racing at the highest level. I really wanted to go and make something of myself that didn't really have to do with anybody else, because I knew that no one would be able to take that away from me, you know? Pushing myself seems kind of like a way of life. Every time I was on a bike, I'd push, and I'd always push past the limit, and now I really get the majority of my satisfaction from creation. I don't know, some people call me one of the top builders, I guess I am, but what's different is in this realm of building motorcycles, it's not about being the best as much as it's about just creating and wanting to build new stuff and cool stuff. To constantly innovate is the challenge, always doing something new and different. And today it's so tough because there's so many people building really great things, it's hard to stand out, you know? So you gotta constantly push. Creating something, it is about bringing something to life. A motorcycle to me is like the personification of that, because it like involves so many different things. It involves art, fabrication, design, engineering, rubber, steel, aluminum, titanium, paint, wood, whatever you can throw at it. So motorcycles are to me like the finest display of bringing an idea to life, making it real, making something you can actually touch, feel, and ride. That's what it's all about. Being on a bike for me is just essential to life. It's the purest expression of freedom and mobility. The faster you go, the harder you ride, the harder you push, you feel it so much more on a motorcycle. If you're going 100 miles an hour, you know it. It's draining physically, but also mentally, because you put so much focus into it. When you're on a bike, it strips everything else away. It just makes anything else in your life disappear. I'll never be away from bikes. It's just what I do, what my family does, what everyone I know does, so safe to say I'll be around for a little while. I don't see any other way for me personally but to just go after it every day. It just makes sense to me, so that's what I do.
Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likis.
And good morning, folks. Welcome to today's broadcast. A really great show that we have lined up for you today. Thanks for tuning in. I want to start by saying that I'm very honored, privileged, pleased, and just as happy as I could be because the Car Clinic Service Pre-Repair, the team just won Best Reputation in Automotive Service in Gannett's recent publication, and that was recent being that would be yesterday, in fact, as it turns out. So we won Best of the Bay in Automotive Service 4 years in a row, and I just thought we could, well, what can top that? And by golly, my team did top it, Best Reputation in Automotive Service. And that's an honor, and I'm very pleased. Okay, Jan will take your calls at 888-CAR-CLINIC, 888-227-2546. John and Jim are already in the queue. I'll come back to you when we get back from this break. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by AC Pro. If your car's air conditioner is not blowing cold enough, bring it back to cold in under 10 minutes with the do-it-yourself AC Pro. Go to acprocold.com for the nearest store near you. And also, this segment brought to you by Stant Corporation, makers of the Super Stat, my thermostat. Reach for the thermostat professional installers prefer. Learn more at stant.com. Back with your calls. Stant is the nation's leading manufacturer of automotive fuel caps, radiator caps, and thermostats. Stant brings their original equipment expertise to the Stant line of quality aftermarket products. Take fuel caps. Stant offers the only aftermarket fuel cap designed and manufactured with all the safety features of OE caps. A lost motion feature gives the cap handle some freedom to turn while maintaining a seal. A breakaway groove allows the cap to remain sealed even if some of the cap has broken away. Both are safety features, helping prevent fuel leakage during a crash. Further, Stant locking fuel caps protect your vehicle from fuel theft and vandalism. Older fuel cap seals can leak over time, which allows fuel vapors to escape and can also affect gas mileage. Replacing your gas cap is an easy and inexpensive maintenance item for your vehicle. Drive to Stant.com to learn more. Stant, we work well under pressure.
My car's a sauna. What's with this air conditioning?
You need an AC Pro.
Know any?
Yeah, you.
You got me confused with somebody else.
You're a pro with new do-it-yourself AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
But
You know where to find the hood?
That thing up front?
Exactly. AC Pro's easy, fast, and saves you money. You'll have your car's AC blowing cold air in minutes.
I did it! It's like a freezer in here.
Be a pro with new AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
Got a sweater?
I'm Bobby Likis with today's Drive Smarter tip, brought to you by Escort, the world's best radar and laser detectors. When I say horsepower, you think giddy up and go, right? But it takes twice as much horsepower to bring the vehicle to a stop. Make sure your car's horses have the power to whoa as well as to go. Have your brakes checked regularly by an automotive professional. This Drive Smarter tip is brought to you by Escort's Passport Max, the first and only all-digital detector with HD radar performance. Don't just drive, drive smarter. Escort.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
It straddles the line between timeless classic and modern luxury.
The grape tomato.
The ruby red in a sea of greens. The muse behind the great chef, Boyardee.
Beefaroni. Mi amore.
Oh, tomato. Are you fruit? Are you vegetable?
What is identity?
Groceries, essentials, signature value.
The Everyday Collection by Target.
Hey, Todd. Where's our sub?
Oh, Samantha. I've already given my sub to Sally.
What? Sally? Hey, Samantha. How could you?
I got a phone call. Todd.
Men.
This is Todd.
Get your own steak and bacon melt with mountains of juicy steak and melty cheese. Subway Steak Melts. Subway, eat fresh.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
Okay, let's get started with today's broadcast. Again, thanks for tuning in. We are going to be giving away compliments of our AC Pro partner sponsors, some koozies and a Pro AC Pro golf shirt and an AC Pro hat. And at first we thought, in fact, Tony, you and I were thinking, well, you know, are we going to give away a little AC Pro bottle? And, of course, not everyone has an AC problem. So if you do, you can, of course, use that product. It really does work. I've used it. But I thought it's really neat for them to give us some giveaways. And so we're just going to draw a name out of the hat to make it really easy. You don't have to do anything. When you call in and ask your question, Jan will put your name in the hat. So, you know, give her your number so we can call you back. And that's confidential. The numbers that you give her are strictly held in-house here for the duration of today's program. So it's kind of neat. If you would like an AC Pro golf shirt, koozies, and an AC Pro hat, certainly anyone that calls in with a car question is eligible. We'll put your name in the hat. And if this program is not aired on your station for both hours, because this is the first of 2 hours, we will make sure that we call you back. So you don't have to be present to win. I guess that's a way to say it, right, Tony? You don't have.
Well, technically nobody's present.
Yeah.
It's just us here in the studio.
Well, yeah, you would think that. Well, anyway, it's really easy. Go to if you want more information about AC Pro, you can go to acprocold.com. Jan will put your name in the hat. Also, a little later in the program, we're going to be talking to Paul Elio, and I started to say, well, who knows who Paul Elio is? But the Elio car is a three-wheel automobile, so that's a pretty cool car. What is really neat, it's $6,800. I don't really know how they can make a three-wheel car for $6,800. What does a motorcycle cost? 10 grand, 15 grand? What's the most beautiful motorcycle? What's the newest, latest, most beautiful motorcycle that's not yet on the market? Tony?
The new electric Harley Davidson.
Yeah, Livewire. It is drop dead gorgeous. And no, I'm not going to get one, but I will tell you, it's beautiful. And by the way, tomorrow's the final day for the great race. And last week we had Wayne Carini calling from Maine, where they started the great race. And the great race ends in the Villages in South Florida, some 2,200 miles, a journey from Maine to Florida through back roads and county roads, rural America. And I will tell you, it's going to be really interesting. 100 classic cars, the youngest of which is a 1972, which I think is pretty cool. And we're going to drive down to the Villages from the Gulf Coast here down to South Middle Florida to attend. And we'll be driving Cadillac's new LR with the CUE, the customer user
ELR.
ELR. I keep thinking the CUE, which is the customer user experience, which is the stack in the middle that has all the technological goodies that I've yet to master. But I'm working my way. There. It's really, really kind of neat. I want to reach out to WTHU 1450 AM in Baltimore, Maryland. Michael Betteridge and Elizabeth Lawrence, General Manager, Program Director. If that's your neck of the woods, let me hear from you. 888-227-2546. That's 888 Car Clinic. WTHU 1450 AM in Baltimore. Meanwhile, let's take a call from John. John, welcome to Bobby Likis. You're first on the air. Glad to have you join us.
Thank you, Bobby. Hey, I got a 2000 Dodge Caravan, and there's two things going on. The car will be sitting in the driveway, and when it gets a certain temperature, the horn will just blow for like 30 seconds and shut off. Then if you're driving out and you hit the horn button, it won't shut off for like 30 seconds. And I'd have it 3 different places, and they tore the airbag apart in it, and they couldn't find anything wrong, and the Dodge dealer seem to know what's wrong with it. Do you have any idea on that?
I would say that it is the button, but the pad, the horn pad, is in the same wad, so to speak, the same packet as the airbag, and I believe that horn switch is serviced separately. I believe, but surely it would be, because you wouldn't want to have to spend $1,000 to repair a horn button.
Yeah, that's what they was going to charge at the dealer, $1,000 for the pad.
Okay.
And you have to buy the airbag with it.
Okay. Well, you know, see, here's and it doesn't surprise me. It disappoints me, but it doesn't surprise me. And here's why: the place where the horn switch is right there where that's the skin for the airbag, and of course the safety comes before anything else. So they can't take that apart and do surgery on it because you can't zip it back together. And you know, I don't mean take the airbag apart, but you can't take the covering apart that covers the airbag. You know what I would do, John?
Yeah.
I would search recycle, and there are, in fact, there's two ways to go here, and a body shop could help you to find one. You're going to say?
64 Collision. I took the last time up there that does wreck cars and stuff.
Right.
And they do airbags and stuff, and they took it apart, and they said they couldn't find anything wrong with it. So he said, could there be a senseless sensor in there, a wireless sensor or something?
I don't think so, because you've got a sun. Now, it's possible that the horn just blow solidly, or does it beep?
It'll just blow solid like it's sitting out there when it gets warm in the afternoon. Well, it'll just blow for like 30 seconds and it shuts off.
Here's what I suggest that you do. I suggest that you cover the steering wheel with like one of those dashboard reflectors.
Yeah.
I mean, before you start to spend dollars.
Right.
Especially $1,000.
Yeah.
So cover the dashboard. Which will essentially stop the sun from coming in to the steering wheel, and see if by covering the dashboard it doesn't reach the critical point at which the horn blows. And if that's the case, do you have one of those?
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah.
But obviously you don't use it, or do you?
No, I haven't been putting it on, but it's in the car.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a good place for
Yeah.
You know, I have to admire my Jan, the lady you talk with when you call. She always covers her dash, and I admire her for doing that. For me, it just seemed like an awful lot of problems and trouble, but it's really not. It takes all of Jan, 5 seconds?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just too lazy, I guess.
Well, in this case, it's not about lazy. It's about $1,000. So cover the windshield, and if that fixes the problem, then I just saved you $1,000 and put you into 10 seconds of work.
What about if you're out on the road driving and you hit the horn for something and it won't shut off for like 30 seconds?
Well, then you got to make the decision of whether you disconnect the horn from that area and put a horn button on it, or spend $1,000 for the pad.
Okay, that's what that car 64 or Collision 64 told me, to put a horn button on it. But
yeah, I know, but
our
horn
second car, we don't drive it that.
Where are you going to put a horn button? Usually a horn button, years ago you put on the side of the steering column. Well, the side of the steering columns, there's no side now. It's all plums, and it has stalks coming out of one side or the other. You'll have to find a place to put the horn button. Maybe you could put it on the dash and like one of those game shows, and when you see somebody, bang!
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this problem before?
Sure.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know that I've never replaced an airbag to fix a horn problem before, to my knowledge, to my recollection, and it's possible that my team could have, and me not know it. I just find there's got to be a better way than that. And I know that at one time we had one of those things apart because we were replacing. I specifically remember. Well, we'll see if maybe Terry Elm, who is our lead technician I talk about all the time, usually listens to the program. So Terry, if you're listening and we've actually repaired or replaced one, give Miss Jan a call, and then John, you just stay tuned. Okay, my friend.
I appreciate you for your time, Bobby.
I appreciate you call. Thank you so much, and I'll put your name in the hat for the AC Pro Cold Bling.
Oh, okay. I'm about 100 miles from the village, so south of there. So.
Oh, wow. How far is the village from Pensacola?
Oh, it's probably, I'd say 450 miles.
Okay, so it's 5 hours.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good 5 hours.
Yeah,
I'd say.
yeah, I see.
Is that where you're at, Pensacola?
Yeah, our studios are located in Pensacola, Florida. Actually, our studios are located inside a 15,000 square foot automotive service shop, and the studios are really nice. They're made by Acoustic Systems, all digital. It's way cool. Hey, we'll see you, John, if you think about it and you'd like to drive up to the Villages. Sunday is the big day. It's the final day of the race, and if you call it a race, it's more of a mind endurance than it is a race.
Yeah.
Anyway.
One more quick thing before I go.
Okay.
I got a niece that lives in Milton, Florida, if you know where that's at.
Where?
Milton, right there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she lives there. He's a preacher, and he works for the Air Base down there, too.
The NAS. That's a beautiful place. Great place.
Yeah.
Hey, got to go.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you. Oh, and I see that Paul Elio is in the queue, and Jim and Dwayne. Stay tuned. And, Paul, we're going to come back to you directly. Don't touch that dial. I'm Bobby Likis with today's Engine Care Spotlight, brought to you by CRC Industries. Where is it? My car used to have it, but now it's all but gone. I'm talking about power. If your vehicle is sluggish, losing MPG, and suffering power and performance loss, could be due to carbon deposit buildup throughout the fuel system. So shock your dirty fuel system with CRC's one-tank Power Renew and reclaim the power, performance, and MPG you've been missing. In fact, test results show up to 97% power recovery, up to 5.7% bump in miles per gallon, 99% injector flow improvement, and cleaner emissions. Best of all, one-tank Power Renew, the most powerful fuel system cleaner on the market, guarantees results with just one use and lasts 4,000 miles. One-tank Power Renew is available at Advance Auto Parts, AutoZone, Pep Boys, and Napa Auto Parts stores. Visit crc1tank.com for a $5 rebate.
O'Reilly. If it's hard to stop or you hear squealing and grinding noises during braking, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You'll find the brake parts you need from trusted brands like Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermo Quiet at everyday low prices. Play it safe with brake parts from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Americans are outspoken when it comes to choice, so why not at the pump? Opponents claim that drivers will be confused with choices like E15 and E85. This objection is confusing, as studies show that Americans do want a choice. Soon, blender pumps will empower consumers to tailor fueling options to include the ethanol level best suited to their needs. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
When we play a game together, I probably won't say,
Thanks for making me the focus of all your attention and energy.
I'll just give you a hug when I get a triple word score in Scrabble.
Or do a little dance as I make my first million in the game of life.
And I may not say, hey, this means a lot to me.
I may not say it, but you'll know.
Parker Brothers and Milton Bradley invite you to plan a family game night for your family tonight. Everybody who plays wins.
Mom, Dad, thanks for playing.
We'll be back with more music, but first a look at weather. Here's meteorologist Tom Sparks.
Thanks, Chad. There's a front moving in from the south, which is going to mix with warm air, giving us the distinct possibility for showers over the next few days. In fact, some of them are going to be big soakers, let me tell you. However, if you're planning any outdoor activities for the weekend, I have good news.
So it's going to be clear?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on car insurance by switching to Geico.
See what you could save. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Great program today. Call with your car questions at 888 Car Clinic. On the hotline with me now is Paul Elio, founder of Elio Motors and creator of the new auto, the Elio. Can't wait to hear about this machine. Paul, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
Tell our Car Clinic listeners and viewers what inspired you to create the Elio.
Well, it was 2008, and if you remember, oil was going through the roof.
Yes.
I owned an engineering firm at the time that did new product development in automotive, and I would watch the news every night and just get disgusted with seeing all this wealth pour out of our country. And one day I decided instead of getting mad about it, I'd do something about it. So I went to work the next day, and I kicked off the project that developed into Elio Motors.
Wow. Well, speaking of Elio Motors, share with our Car Clinic listeners and viewers the car's unique design and the features.
So the first thing is it seats two people front to back instead of side by side, and that's the secret to the gas mileage. So we get 84 miles per gallon. It's engineered the highest safety ratings. Its sticker price is for $6,800, assembled in Shreveport, Louisiana, with 90% North American content.
From an environmental standpoint, where does it stand?
Well, you know, as a product, if you drive this vehicle 20,000 miles in a year, you create less greenhouse gas than one cow's flatulence over the same time period. As a project, we have an enormous impact because of our price point. We can put a lot of these on the road. So after 5 years of sales, we reduced total U.S. gas consumption by 0.35%. That has a big impact on our carbon footprint and our dependency on foreign oil.
That sounds really good to me. What about the availability of the Elio, Paul, and where can a Car Clinic listener or our viewers expect to find one? And do you see a dealer network in your future?
So we will go into production in the third quarter of 2015, but you can make a reservation today if you go to eliomotors.com. We have over 21,000 reservations to date. We will have company-owned retail centers in the top 60 markets where you can purchase an Elio, and we're doing it a little differently. We're only going to build it two ways, a standard and automatic. Each vehicle will come standard with air conditioning, power windows, power door locks, and a radio. And then all the upscale content you're used to seeing will be available for the Elio, but it's added post-manufacture. So that way you don't have to buy a whole package. So, you know, you spend a lot of money on stuff you don't want to get the few things you do want, and you won't have that problem with the Elio.
What engine is in that vehicle, Paul?
It's a purpose-designed drivetrain for Elio Motors by IAV. IAV does the engine development for Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Bentley, Bugatti, Elio, and a few others.
What's the CC and what RPM does it turn? What's the torque curve, horsepower?
It's a three-cylinder overhead cam, fuel-injected, variable valve lift, three-cylinder engine. It's about 60 foot-pounds of torque, and one of the advantages of Elio is it is designed specifically for this application. The big guys, when they design a new drivetrain, it's aimed at 6 different platforms, so it's good for all but best for none. And so one of the advantages is this is designed specifically for this application.
Will this vehicle have a catalytic converter, and how does it meet the emissions requirements?
Yes, so we have 34 of the best suppliers in the world engaged. Our catalytic converter supplier is Johnson Matthey. They've produced 1 out of every 3 catalytic converters ever made on the planet. There again, they seem to know what they're doing.
Well, no question about that. It sounds like you know as well, and you've done your homework. You're expecting the third quarter this vehicle to roll out and the production to start, and it's going to be located in Shreveport, Louisiana, you said?
Correct. We have a site that was part of the GM bankruptcy. We got all the equipment inside, and we have control of the site.
That's how it came about. I wonder, how did you choose Louisiana as a starting point? Where can our Car Clinic listeners and viewers go for more information, more in-depth information about the new 3-wheel Elio?
ElioMotors.com, ELIO Motors.com.
Well, it sounds like you're off to a great start. From an industry standpoint, just one last question. What do you hear from the big boys?
Well, we're very symbiotic with them. I think this is an and vehicle, not an or vehicle, and we support their most profitable products. You know, if oil prices spike again, they'll sell more SUVs if Elio exists than if it doesn't.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And you said, if I quote you, nearly 20,000 people have already reserved an Elio. What do you do to reserve an Elio?
You go to ElioMotors.com. We have 2 programs, a refundable and non-refundable, and a couple of different levels.
Well, congratulations. I can't wait. Maybe we can get you back on the show as you get a little closer to the production date and the start of the rollout of the vehicle. Folks, that's ElioMotors.com to take a look at the Elio. Very interesting vehicle. Paul Elio. Paul, thanks for joining us on Bobby Likis Car Clinic today.
Thanks for having me, Bobby.
Yeah, maybe we can get Paul to give us the Elio to give away, on the what do you think about that, Tony? I think that would be kind of cool.
Oh, of course, that would be cool, but
cool.
Getting him to do it might be a different story.
Well, it's only $6,800 for a 3-wheel, and I keep thinking of a 3-wheel motorcycle. And folks, if you can look online, Elio Motors, ELIO Motors.com, you'll see that it has 3 wheels, of course, 2 in the front and 1 in the back, but there's a cocoon, and when you get in, the rear passenger sits behind the front passenger. I think that might have just a little bit of claustrophobia there. I mean, I don't know, but
it's obviously not built for cross country trips.
No, but $6,800, and I think that's going to be. We'll see. We'll see if it makes it to production. It's going to be in late 15, so we'll find out. Again, folks, I want to invite you to call. For every person who calls with a car question, you can't just call and put your name in the hat. With a car question, Jan will take your call at 888-CAR-CLINIC, 888-227-2546. Put your name in the hat at the end of today's broadcast, roughly 11:45-ish Eastern Time. I'm going to be giving away, from compliments of our AC Pro, a golf shirt and some beverage koozies and an AC Pro hat. And, Tony, we may throw something in there as well from Car Clinic.
Yeah, we could give away a car.
A car? Oh, speaking of the Elio, well, we could give away a car. And we have given away lots of cars, folks. Neatest little car you've ever seen. It's a car mouse. Take you anywhere you want to go on the globe. Where Google has pictures, that is. Anywhere you want to go, which is everywhere. Is there a place that Google doesn't have pictures?
Not that I know.
They
saw that story with the lady who was stranded on an island for 5 years, and Google Earth, somebody was on Google Earth and found her SOS in the sand. It saved her life. That's true.
You're making that up.
No, it's true. It's all over Facebook and the internet.
Really?
Yeah. Honest to God. Some guy in Europe, some kid in Europe, in fact, was on Google Earth just looking up stuff, and he found SOS, and he called somebody, told him, and somebody went out there and got her. Yeah.
That's almost, it's a movie. It sounds like a movie to me.
Google saves lives.
Yeah, it would make a good movie. Okay, let's take some calls. Okay, folks, I'll take your call. 888-CAR Clinic. Jim from Mississippi, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding, man.
Good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, sir.
Bobby, I've been listening to you for a long, long time, and our radio station has quit. Well, first off, congratulations on the awards.
Thank you.
But our radio station do a rebroadcast of you at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so I get to look at you now on the computer.
Well, you could always twice. You could do the computer, watch Bobby live, and then you can listen to it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But you have a question?
Yes, sir. I talked to you one time before. I understand, according to the news, people are keeping their automobiles now for an average of 14 to 15 years.
Well, it's 11.2, I think. But, yeah, the average is 11, a little over 11, yeah.
But anyhow, I bought this Oldsmobile new in 97. It was one of them late models that come out. And I've had this car. I know every tweak, every bend, every squeak, whatever in this automobile. It gets 23, 24 miles a gallon.
Right.
I had a problem with the transmission here a while back. I called you about it. I got this worked out, which the indicator was not showing. It was showing in between gears.
Right.
Finally, it clicked in there one day, and everything fell into place. But I noticed when I crank it in the morning time, I let it sit and run for 4 or 5 minutes before I remove it. I'd put it in reverse, go to backing out, and I'd hear a click, 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 click. I could reach up and touch that gear shift, the clicking would go away. Okay, that stopped. Now, yesterday, I cranked the car up and went to a neighbor's house to help him do something. Got ready to go. I put it in reverse, and the indicator showed it was in reverse, but you don't get that bump feeling when you pull it out of park. It stayed in park. You can go to drive, go back to park, drive, revert, and just shift it back and forth. But when I kill the engine and crank it back up, it shifts normally now. What gives?
It's a cable and linkage problem.
Well, the shifter, I had my neighbor, my friend, watch the arm on the steering column going under the dash, and I said, "Is this moving?" I shifted. He said, "Yes."
Well, but it didn't watch down in the transmission. See, that
piece,
no. That piece ends up going through the case of the transmission into the valve body, and in the valve body there's just a little piston, and that piston slides back and forth in a tunnel, and inside that tunnel there are ports. And so if you go from one location to another location, it connects two ports together, and one port has the pressure from the pump, and the other port goes to the reverse clutches. And the same thing is true for drive. In other words, it has one common one common pressure feed, and then you either put power, or you allow that pressure to transfer to a forward clutch or a backward clutch or a combination of clutches that use gears, and that's a little more technical than what I need to tell you, except that what I recommend that you do, and this is something that you shouldn't do yourself, and it's not an expensive job, especially if you don't go in there yourself and damage something because you've never been there and done that. Any automotive shop can replace the cable assembly. Have you ever seen? Do you know what a Morse cable is on a boat outboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's it. It is. I don't think it's as well made as a Morse cable because it doesn't have to put up with the elements that boats do, or it's not as heavy duty. And dragsters, we used to use the Morse cables for shifting. But I would recommend that you replace the shift cable assembly. And then during that replacement, after the gear shift and the grommets are all new because the cable comes with the assembly, then you want to make sure that they adjust the needle, the indicator, because a couple things you said it click, and so that tells me that that same cable that moves the piston that I just told you about also moves another lever that engages or disengages the parking pawl. And so my concern for you is that you could maybe, it's possible because it just happened to you, that you might put it in reverse and the parking pawl didn't come all the way out, and you got to move the car and you get that click, 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 because the parking pawl has said, "I'll stop the car, lock the car, stop the transmission." And so you don't want to foul the drive shaft. Well, I mean front-wheel drive, but you don't want to foul the driving shafts because you've got a problem with the cable. So that's really, it's really simple. And while you're there, I would, of course, look at the transmission fluid, and it's a good time to change the filter because, it's got to be right there above. Hey, thanks for your call and thanks for your kind words. I am very proud that we won Best Reputation in Automotive Service on the Gulf Coast with Car Clinic Service Pre-Repair. Back with Andy and Dwayne's call and yours. Don't go away. I'm Bobby Likis with today's Fact or Friction. Brought to you by Royal Purple, the performance lubricants that outperform. Fact or Friction. Hot rods and modified engines are optimized with the exact same oil as regular engines. Friction. High-performance modified engines crave extra oil oomph, and since these engines are by nature changed from the original production engines, they fall outside the requirements from automakers to maintain API, or American Petroleum Institute standards for warranty coverage. Without the API restrictions, these modified engines can enjoy the benefits of fortified performance oils like Royal Purple's HPS, or High-Performance Street Motor Oil with Centerlink technology. Benefits include impressive oxidation stability, superior corrosion protection, improved performance, and exceptionally high film strength for dramatic reduction in engine wear. When choosing oil for your vehicle, consider Royal Purple. Visit royalpurple.com and pick up Royal Purple at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
This is Tom.
What's up?
Sitting in his cubicle.
Actually, it's called a workstation.
Whatever. Tom is slowly dying in his workstation.
I mean, aren't we all dying, really, if you think about it?
Let's not get philosophical, Tom. Just go to careerbliss.com. Follow companies that you find. Apply to openings right online. Check salaries and read reviews. Score a career that's perfect for you.
I feel alive!
Choose happy. careerbliss.com.
I'm your blind spot. And my job is easy. Hide big things.
You're good.
And if you named your own price on car insurance, you could be paying for this yourself. So get Allstate. You can save money and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate agents.
And now for the bonus round.
If Rome wasn't built in a day, how long did it take?
3 business days. Oh, plus 1 Saturday.
Correct. A good man is hard to find. Why?
Because he's so small.
Correct. Netflix delivers movies by mail, and now what other way?
Directly to your TV.
Correct! Netflix now delivers movies 2 ways, instantly to your TV, plus DVDs by mail. Watch as many TV episodes and movies as you want for only $9 a month. Netflix! See terms of use.
It's Practical Poly Radio. I've switched to cooking with healthier oils. So now what do I do with all these tubs of lard? Skinny jeans feeling too tight? A bit of lard on your hips and thighs and those pants slide on like a dream. So there's no need for that lard to go to waste. But get your best heart-healthy trade-up with healthier oils, like canola, olive, or other vegetable oils, which can actually lower your chances for heart disease. Learn more at heart.org/facethefats. Canola Info is the national supporter of the American Heart Association's Face the Fats campaign.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I want to remind you that you can get social with me. Like us, as I say, like us, you'll love us. Like me on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/Bobby Likis. That's Likis. Also, same as Twitter, twitter.com/Bobby Likis. And Pinterest.com/ as you know, Bobby Likis. And the other is Tumblr, and it's a little different. It's BobbyLikisCarClinic.tumblr.com. And you can watch us live, of course, now in full screen, true HD, 100% ad-free, with the ability to wind, pause, and add me on Google Plus straight from your YouTube channel. Love it that you do that, and we're available. If you miss a call or you miss an answer, certainly you can go to iTunes.com and just download the iPod application, and we're there for you anytime. You can subscribe, and your system will automatically update it for you, so you can just have it whenever you'd like and have the show there for you. We'd love it that you do that. Let's go to Kansas and take a call from Dwayne. Dwayne, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
We got a 2012 Chrysler Town and Country, and once in a while when we go out to start it, and you turn the key on the ignition, why, nothing happens. Nothing will click or anything. You turn the thing back on, off, and you turn it back on again, and the thing will start. And this may happen once every 2 months.
Wow.
But recently it's starting to get a little bit worse, a little more frequent. I had it in the shop the other day to get it oil changed, and I told them about this, and they said, well, leave the car with us a day and we'll try. I said, well, it doesn't do it all the time. It just once every month or so. And so she said, well, we'll have to wait until it gets worse before we can do anything about it then. And she said there'll be a $98 diagnostic fee on it. And I thought, well, I've already told you what the problem is. Give me this $98. But anyway, that's my story.
Dwayne, you told them what the complaint was. You didn't tell them how to fix it.
That's right.
Well, so
That's right.
so it's just like you're going to a doctor. Just so you'll know, because as you were talking, I was listening to and trying to determine how we would handle that in our service shop. And the bottom line is, if you have a chest pain, you wouldn't go in and say, I have a chest pain, let's do open heart surgery. And if the doctor said, let's do open heart surgery, you say, wait, wouldn't you like to do some stress tests first? So the same thing is true. The shop was actually being straightforward with you. There are two things that you can do. You can pay them to go in to look at the architecture of the electronics and do some specific testing, which could or maybe wouldn't prove anything if the problem didn't exist. And you said it's like a 2-month erratic. I say this quite often, that your car for you runs like a Till of the Hun. Then you take it to a service shop and it runs like Miss Manners. Well, in this case, you can't prove. So here's what so that I can help you. Here's what I suggest. And you'll have to be cognizant every day. You'll have to think about this. And the first time it happens, you're going to say, gosh, Likis told me to do this, and I didn't do it. Think about the temperature. And you may know this already. Think about the previous overnight stand or the previous length of time the vehicle was shut off, and whether or not it was in a garage or under a carport or in the sun, or whether it was over the weekend, or how long? In other words, if you came in, if you go to church on Sunday or go out to dinner and you come back and park the car and you leave it there until Monday, you go to work, and the first time you tried it didn't work, and then or it worked all through those times, and then you go to work and or you stop and take a break and you come out in 20 minutes or get a Coke and you come out in 5 minutes and it doesn't start. What I'm saying is, to save you money and to better communicate with your service shop, you need to keep a diary. And years ago, I would say a loose leaf notebook, but now you can just keep it on your iPhone and do a little voice note. And whenever the vehicle refuses to start, here's what you crank. Here's what you need to know. Does the horn work? Does the radio work? Do the lights work? And the reason I say the horn, because you'll know the horn works just by blowing the horn. And so what I'm trying to do is to narrow the odds and close in to find out if it's a security issue. In other words, you could also lock and unlock the car with a key fob, and if that made it work or didn't, then you could almost eliminate that part of the architecture, because with that Caravan, you're definitely going to have some kind of a symptom. So that's what I would recommend that you do. That makes sense? Okay. Well, I guess it does. I tell you what, let's put Terry. I see that Terry's called in. Let's put Terry on the phone. Terry Elm, and Terry's our lead ASE certified technician. Terry, I see that you were listening, so welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Glad to have you call today.
Hey, good morning, Bobby. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Your name doesn't go in the hat for the AC Pro Cold prize, though. You're disqualified.
That's discrimination.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are your thoughts?
Okay, on the van with the horn issue, and they want to replace the airbag module.
Yes.
On it. I don't really believe that he needs to go there yet. Just for the simple fact, because that particular vehicle and that year frame had come out with a total integrated control module, or sometimes they call it a front control module. And that module actually holds the relay that actually activates the horn for security reasons and for other reasons as well. So I think that probably when he's driving the vehicle down the road and that horn blows for 30 seconds, he says, I don't think it's a button issue. It's more of a control issue. Now, if the shop that he had it to, or he was going to take it to a shop, have him check the body control module for any particular codes regarding security, regarding horn function relay type thing on it, because that horn relay, is actually built into the front control module / total integrated control module, whatever Chrysler had named it at that particular time on it.
Now,
and what happened?
And that's a quick question, because I did hear him toward the last of the conversation mention after 30 seconds. And so that I thought, well, if it was a horn-related issue or a horn pad, that 30 seconds wouldn't be there. So it must be something electronic. Is this body front control module that similar to the Thunderbird that we had in here?
Yes, it is. It's almost.
While I've got you on the air, Tony, you replaced on a Thunderbird, and I don't know what year it was, but you replaced the front control module, and there's a rear body control and a front body control. Share with our Car Clinic listeners and viewers what items did not work on that Thunderbird because of the body control module.
Well, the original complaint was the customer had the windshield wipers would not work, the power windows would not work, the convertible top would not work, and the radio function would not work. So all those three or all those components would not operate at specific times. I mean, it would just randomly it would come on and not work or work and that type of thing on it. But they always were within a group. So if the horn didn't work, you can almost bet that the power windows and the convertible top would not work as well.
Mm-hmm.
And once the testing procedures were done, and the first thing I actually really did was actually pull codes on that thing and actually did a bidirectional test, meaning I tested each individual circuit. So I tested the windshield wipers, then the power motor, window motor, the radio, make sure everything came on independently. When that did, then that led me into another direction of finding a common issue on here. And basically what we had was a module, the front control module, was not grounding those specific circuits at different times on it. Now, that also controlled other issues. It controlled security functions as well, but that was not affected on this particular circuit on it. So it was kind of time-consuming to find a particular problem on it and condemn the actual front control module on that car.
And if you heard the caller, the caller says, well, I've already told them what the problem was, and that was a gentleman we just talked with. And so it's great that we share this information with our Car Connect listeners, because how much time, not to repair, how much time did you spend testing the electronic components that were affected by this body control module?
On that particular vehicle, I mean, probably a good 2.5, 3, almost 3 hours. And that's also a verification procedure as well, meaning that once I determined that we had an issue here, I had to go back and actually verify through other test procedures that, hey, yeah, this is what we have. This is the problem that we have. And then once the component is actually replaced, we got to reprogram or reinitialize that particular component, and then go back again and verify all my functions again. So make sure that all my data lines going to each and every one of these circuits was in proper voltage specs.
And Terry, one final question. Had this car been to other shops prior to coming to our service shop?
Actually, I do believe from what Brennan Beasley said, our general manager, he said they had been to 4 different shops, and one of the shops was actually a Ford dealership. And they didn't figure out what was going on with this thing.
Well, that just means you're
But they could actually verify his complaint. And that was the part that kind of threw us. Is that, well, a Ford dealership is actually verifying the customer's complaint, but they didn't find his problem.
Well, of course, they may not have spent the time that you did to verify and then to test the circuit and then to make that circuit. So you're saying, and then we're going to move on to another call, but you're saying that you tested a circuit and saw that the circuit was good and circuit A, B, C, and D, but they were all controlled by one common denominator, and that was the front body control module.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. Hey, thanks so much for calling in and giving clarification on that. I appreciate it, and always thanks for tuning in. And thanks for doing your part to make Bobby Likis Car Connect Service Pre-Repair best reputation in automotive service by Gannett News. It's fantastic, and I'm very proud of that.
That's great. That's great. I'm very happy there, and I'm very proud of our customers. I mean, they're the ones who did it.
Yeah, that's for sure. No problem. No doubt about that. Thanks again, Terry.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We'll take another call from Andy. Andy, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hi, Bobby. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
From Ormond Beach.
Ah, terrific. I'm headed that way.
Oh, that's right. Well, you're saving me from having to mow the yard by having me on the phone.
It will be there after our conversation, not to worry.
Amen to that. I've been listening to you since before I was married, and we're coming up on our 20th pretty soon. But I'm cheap, and I've got a 07 Nissan Frontier. It's the most comfortable truck I've ever driven. It's got the 4-liter 6 and a 6-speed manual.
Okay.
And ever since I was a kid, it's mostly been 2.2 4-cylinder 5 speeds. And I was wondering, I keep my tires inflated properly, and how can I get a little bit better fuel economy out of that beast of a truck? And it's not a beast really, but
no,
a 4-liter.
I know. It's not really. It's not a beast. They're good trucks. They're not. A beast is when you pull up. A beast is when you're stopped at a traffic light and an F-250 diesel pulls up.
I know, with the
and shakes the ground, and you look. No matter what you're driving, you look over and you have to look up, and it's intimidating. And
you can't hear them in the drive.
You can't hear. And the only thing that's more intimidating is to have one of those pull up behind you, and all you see is that mouth of a grill in there. Yours is far from being a beast. A couple things. My standard first initial thoughts are, and you may have already done this, to upgrade the engine to synthetic oil, and I recommend Royal Purple.
Okay.
And also I recommend, in your case, is yours a 4x?
No, it's
good, because you'll get better gas mileage with a 2x. Although, much to my surprise, there are some vehicle manufacturers that show specs as being the same, which really surprises me because there's no doubt that 4xs are heavier than the 2xs. But I would go with synthetic upgrades in all lubricants, and that's engine, transmission, and differential.
Okay.
With a Royal Purple product. That's number one. I would make sure that you're using the lightest viscosity oil as prescribed by the manufacturer. So that would be if it's 520 or if it's 1030 or 030 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you use what is called for. And even though you live in Ormond Beach and you have higher temperatures than someone who lives in New York, you still can use the lightest viscosity year-round. So that's 2 points that I would do. All the fluids, transmission differential. I would run the lowest, and you probably already do this, lowest octane fuel that you can find, and that's 87.
It'll run on 87, but the book wants me to put in either the next one up.
I know, but I'm suggesting that you run 87 octane. The only time you need the octane that's prescribed is if you're towing or if you want the fastest drag race out of that vehicle, because the engine has automatic devices that will retard the timing and tune the engine. And if you drive conservatively, the timing will not be retarded. So if you drive like you want to get gas mileage, good gas mileage, which means easy on the pedal, just drive as though there's an egg between your foot and the gas pedal, I can assure you you'll get better gas mileage. Number 4 of 2 or 3 tips, if you see ahead that the light is changing and you can't make the traffic light, back all the way off the throttle, because when you back all the way off the throttle, your 07 Frontier will shut the fuel down even though the car is moving, and that will get 99 miles per gallon during that little short engine fuel cut phase. And that's what I would recommend, driver tips and lubrication. Hey, folks, got to go. I'll be back.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
Fortune 500 companies choose Royal Purple lubricants to protect and improve the performance of their multi-million-dollar equipment. The same high-performance technology is also available for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or ATV. Royal Purple enhances performance and provides superior protection for anything wrapped in metal. Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. For independent tests and endorsements that document Royal Purple benefits, go to royalpurple.com. That's royalpurple.com.
I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Myth is that ethanol production dramatically increases food prices. Fact is that experts from the USDA, World Bank, academia, and independent consultants all note that a complex range of factors influence food prices, including supply chain costs, weather, and oil prices. I'm Bobby Likis with 20 facts about ethanol, brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Well, spank my bottom and call me polyethylene. I'm recyclable. Hi, Tom Bodette for Motel 6. In the spirit of conservation, this commercial uses 100% recycled words. Yep, just like water bottles or cans of garbanzo beans. I've used all 160-odd words in this commercial before to describe Motel 6, like clean, comfortable, and lowest price of any national chain. That was a whole six-pack I just recycled there. I figure why make new words when those work just fine? So I can tell you what a great value Motel 6 always has been and still is without contributing to a verbal landfill or increasing my jargon footprint. I see it as doing our part to conserve our precious verbal resources, and that feels pretty good. Almost as good as saving money. I bet this will sound familiar too. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
It's one big project. You gotta hit it every day. My name's Roland Sands. I am a motorcycle builder, designer. Generally kind of stoked to bring things in my head to reality. That's what it is all about, bringing an idea to life. I mean, there's no more complete circle than that. That's the challenge, you know. I was around motorcycles, I mean, since I can remember, really. It's kind of been in my blood. When I was 18, it was like a drug addiction, man. Nothing else in my life really mattered a whole lot. It was like, I'm gonna go out and ride and race and try and win. So that's what I did for about 10 years. And I didn't know I was going to be a national champion, and I didn't know that I'd end up winning national road races and breaking track records and racing at the highest level. I really wanted to go and make something of myself that didn't really have to do with anybody else, because I knew that no one would be able to take that away from me, you know? Pushing myself seems kind of like a way of life. Every time I was on a bike, I'd push, and I'd always push past the limit, and now I really get the majority of my satisfaction from creation. I don't know, some people call me one of the top builders, I guess I am, but what's different is in this realm of building motorcycles, it's not about being the best as much as it's about just creating and wanting to build new stuff and cool stuff. To constantly innovate is the challenge, always doing something new and different. And today it's so tough because there's so many people building really great things, it's hard to stand out, you know? So you gotta constantly push. Creating something, it is about bringing something to life. A motorcycle to me is like the personification of that because it like involves so many different things. It involves art, fabrication, design, engineering, rubber, steel, aluminum, titanium, paint, wood, whatever you can throw at it. So motorcycles are to me like the finest display of bringing an idea to life, making it real, making something you can actually touch, feel, and ride. That's what it's all about. Being on a bike for me is just essential to life. It's the purest expression of freedom and mobility. The faster you go, the harder you ride, the harder you push, you feel it so much more on a motorcycle. If you're going 100 miles an hour, you know it. It's draining physically, but also mentally, because you put so much focus into it. When you're on a bike, it strips everything else away. It just makes anything else in your life disappear. I'll never be away from bikes. It's just what I do, what my family does, what everyone I know does, so safe to say I'll be around for a little while. I don't see any other way for me personally but to just go after it every day. It just makes sense to me, so that's what I do. Life is one big project, and you gotta hit it every day.
Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host,
and for
Bobby
those
Likis.
Thank you. And I didn't mean to step on you there, Tony. And for those of you, I just want to get started, who have just tuned in, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. For those of you who are listening to the second hour, this is the second hour of Bobby Likis Car Clinic, thank you so much for trusting me with your automotive car questions. Just consider me your personal car consultant. We're going on 23 years at America's largest car talk program on commercial radio, and I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank my own team at Car Clinic Service Pre-Repair, because we were just awarded Gannett's best reputation in automotive service, and to me, that's just phenomenal. So we'll take your calls at 888 Car Clinic, 888-227-2546. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by Royal Purple. And you've heard me mention the HMX, high mileage engine oil. Well, now we're getting calls from people who are using the HMX, the high mileage oil. There is a difference. You can read the label and you will see that there are certain additives that are in consistency increased in the formula to make up for any wear that an engine that has over 75,000 miles might have. Also, I mentioned recently the Duralec commercial line. Don't forget that. That's for your heavy-duty fleets. Also brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. A little more about O'Reilly Auto Parts when I come back. Have you noticed how some spray lubes have to be reapplied and well, you get the idea. But Royal Purple's Max Film lives up to its name. With Max Film, you get lubrication that lasts. Max Film penetrates deeply and cleans parts. Then Max Film leaves an ultra-tough lubricating film for ultra-smooth operation. Go to protectparts.com for more information. Then pick up a can of Royal Purple's Max Film today.
If it's hard to stop or you hear squealing and grinding noises during braking, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. You'll find the brake parts you need from trusted brands like Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermoquiet at everyday low prices. Play it safe with brake parts from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This mailbag is brought to you by K&N, the world's best air filter. John from Hartford writes, Dear Bobby, I'm retiring and my wife and I are fulfilling a dream, traveling the states in a motorhome. We found one and I was wondering. I've always used K&N filters and like being able to clean and reuse them. What do you think about K&N filters for motorhomes? John, you'll have a great time traveling cross country and we'll find a lot of company out there. For diesel pusher RVs, K&N makes a terrific filter that doesn't have to be oiled. fault. Simply wash it, let it dry, and put it back. Also, consider K&N's high-flow air intake system for extra horsepower needed to get up to speed, especially on inclines. The K&N intake system is designed to provide excellent filtration while being less restrictive, resulting in more power. Drive safely, have fun, and give me a call from the road. Go to knfilters.com for all the reasons why K&N is the world's best air filter and products available for your RV. That's knfilters.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
First rule of business: hard work equals success. That's why Geico is consistently rated excellent or better in terms of financial strength. Second rule: don't steal a co-worker's egg salad, especially if it's marked the gecko. Come on, people. Geico is the third largest car insurance company in the nation. But it's not like we're kicking back now having a cup of tea. Takes a lot of sweat to become that big. Of course, geckos don't literally sweat. It's just not our thing. But I do work hard, mind you.
Home. It's the place you like to make warm and inviting. What could be more welcoming than the aroma of fresh coffee brewing? When the coffee is Starbucks, the experience only gets richer. You'll find Starbucks coffee at your grocery store so you can enjoy it at home. Its distinctive roasting style and rich, authentic taste show how seriously we pursue the art of coffee. Savor its aroma, then pour a cup and invite your senses to take flight. Starbucks coffee at your grocery store.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. I want to remind you that we are about 45 after the hour going to be giving away a hat and T-shirts and some bling from our friends at AC Pro. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by AC Pro, the 10-minute auto AC cold air solution. And folks, you can go to acprocold.com for the store nearest you. Also, I want to remind you that this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by PowerFrame patented grid technology. PowerFrame grids are up to 66% more durable and more corrosion resistant than other grid designs. You look for the PowerFrame logo on the outside of your next battery. It means true strength on the inside. You learn more at powerframe.com. We'll take a call from Walter, and then I want to remind you that everyone who calls in the 888 Car Clinic, we will put your name in the hat, and at 45 after the hour, we're going to be giving away a golf shirt and beverages, koozies, not beverages, but koozies for beverages, and an AC Pro hat from our friends at AC Pro. So we'll just draw your name out of the hat, and you have to have a valid car question, and don't we all? Walter, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. You're first out.
Hey, good morning, Bobby.
Good morning, sir.
And thank you. This is a follow-up to a call to you about a month ago.
Okay.
Well, about ABS yellow light problem on my 02 Trailblazer two-wheel drive with high mileage.
Seems like you had 240,000 miles. Do I remember?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, 249 is the number.
I remember.
Okay, we still don't have this resolved. The situation right now is when I start the engine, the yellow ABS light goes off when all the other dash lights go off, and there is no trouble light showing. But when you put it in gear, forward or reverse, the ABS yellow light comes on about 3 miles an hour. When you stop the car, turn the ignition off, and then restart, then the ABS light is off again. Put it in gear, go 3 miles an hour, it's back on. Now, I've had the rotors checked for warp. They were okay. I've had the EBCM rebuilt by a certified rebuilder. I've installed new hub assemblies with new wheel sensors pre-installed. Also renewed the ABS ground wire connection to the frame. When we checked this yesterday on the code scanner,
yes,
with the vehicle in park, the scanner said there are 3 wheels showing movement going 3 miles an hour, but it's in park.
So there's some voltage. There's voltage being generated. There's voltage. There's noise on that line, is what they call it. There's noise, as you well know. There's noise on that line because there's no way that there should be noise when the vehicle is standing. And I don't mean road noise. I'm talking about
I understand. Yeah,
voltage.
It's voltage.
So that
voltage leakage.
So that tells me that there's another part of that system that is feeding voltage, and this is where and this is one of the reasons I know I talk about our tech Terry. He's more than our tech. He's the shop foreman, and he just does a fantastic job. He's really thorough with regard to diagnostic and testing. And I pull back. I take back the word diagnostic because diagnostic means you diagnose it and you know what's wrong with it. You don't know what's wrong with it. There's no such thing as diagnosis in the true scheme of automotive service. And so if I could, I'd like to unscramble that word and respell it into testing. And just like we get our bodies tested when we go for any kind of a problem. So, Walter, what has to be done is there has to be some individual testing from one module to, or from one sensor to the module. And you said you repaired. Did you repair because it was bad, or did you just repair a ground wire? Tell me about that particular part.
It was corroded.
It was corroded.
Yeah, but we did repair it and made fresh metal to, bare fresh metal to bare fresh metal. And, that was in one of the service bulletins.
Did that change anything at all?
Nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing we have not changed in terms of sensor is we have not changed the variable speed sensor.
Well, the variable speed sensor would obviously, it is also it's a receiver of signal. So I don't know that it could generate a signal. I think it's a receiver of a signal. So it seems to me.
Does it not drive the speedometer?
No. It's driven by the same speed. It's driven by the ABS sensors at the wheels. And now, here's what I would do if I were you. You're onto something here. So what you're telling me is that you've got an input from the wheel sensors, even with the cars parked, right?
Correct.
Okay. Disconnect them.
Okay.
I mean, you got nothing to lose, and that's an easy unplug.
That's right.
So disconnect all the sensors, meaning that doesn't make a difference if you're on 100 miles an hour. There's no signal because they're not connected. And see if you have noise on the line with those sensors disconnected.
Okay.
That's an easy next step for you. And this week I'll ponder it, and I'll talk with our lead ASE master technician, and we'll see if we can help you solve this problem, ongoing as it is. So hang in there, and I don't think you should replace any more parts at this time.
Okay.
Okay, my friend. Hey, thanks for calling back. And
thank you.
I thank you. Going to put your name in the hat, too. Folks, this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you in part by O'Reilly Auto Parts. If you need new brakes, you find the brake parts you need at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Brands you trust, like Brake Best, remember these lines, Brake Best Select, and Wagner Thermal Quiet. At guaranteed low prices, O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. We'll take a call now from Ted. Ted, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Yes, I have a Nissan Altima 2004 that's been diagnosed to need a new head gasket because when the pressure builds up in the cooling system, it runs rough. Tried that additive that starts with the word blue. That's expensive, but it helped, but it didn't fix it. So it looks like the head gasket's going to have to be replaced. So the question is, while the head is off, what else is a good idea to go ahead and have replaced, and should even go as far as trying to replace the rings? I think the compression's like 150 in two of the cylinders and 125 in the other two.
Well, to your knowledge, Ted, has the engine are you the primary driver, and has the engine ever been run really hot?
No, it's never been run really hot. That's why it's unusual. But when I talked to the Nissan dealer, they said they've seen this happen it's not a normal occurrence. It's just 100,000 miles is kind of disappointing.
I agree with you, and I'm thinking now that one of our customers, ironically, we have a customer named Ted that had a problem with, and I'm not sure he drives a Nissan, but I believe it may be, and he had a problem with his vehicle, and we ultimately removed the head from that vehicle and fixed it. So I have to say we've been there, done that, and I'm going to have to advise you to pull the head as far. And your question specifically is there anything else that you should do? And the answer is no. Just because the head gasket's weak on those cars or the cylinder heads or bolts, make sure that the bolts, and this should be a given, but you know, nothing's a given unless you request it specifically in life. So make sure that whatever shop replaces the head gasket, with the gasket kit comes new head bolts, because they're spongy, springy, and they're made to grow and to contract and to grow and contract, and over time they lose their tension. So it is protocol and standard procedure to replace the head bolts when you replace the gasket. And last but not least, you want to have and this is something you can ask the shop as well. Ask them to look into the cylinders when the head is off, to look for any score marks or any reasons why visually you should dive deeper into the engine. Does that make sense?
Yes, well, I heard that he might need to replace the rings, even if it seems to be okay, because the water can weaken them in some way, and that the life is shortened. At least that was what I was told
I disagree. I disagree. The water will not weaken them. Water, you'd have to put a lot of water, and you'd have a piston damage before you'd have a ring damage, unless you poured water in the cylinder. I mean, really, the water is so explosive in a high temperature arena that any water that would go through, like a little water in the injector, if it would emulsify and go through and into the cylinder, it's so explosive it would never affect the rings. It would only clean the carbon off the top of the valve. I disagree with that, but certainly visually inspect it and then make the decision after that and ask them to show you, and I'll be back. Polestar with plasma core spark plugs use pulsed power technology to produce more engine power. These pulsed power spark plugs use the electrical energy delivered by your vehicle's ignition coil and store it in a patented capacitor. When this stored energy is released in a quick and powerful burst, it produces a bigger spark, delivering 5 million watts of peak power, 1,000 times more than the 50 watts of power output delivered by the top-performing Iridium spark plug. This increase in power enables Polestar with plasma core to ignite the fuel charge instantaneously and burn it more completely, creating more force on the piston during the power stroke, which generates more torque to the crankshaft and more power to the wheels. Fuel economy, power, and longevity all come from efficient combustion. Simply put, the more efficient the engine is, the better it runs. Learn more about Polestar Pulse technology at polestar.com. You can buy these plugs at major retailers such as AutoZone, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Advance Auto Parts, Pep Boys, Jegs, or online at Amazon. Polestar with plasma core. Bigger spark, more power, longer life.
My car's a sauna. What's with this air conditioning?
You need an AC Pro.
Know any?
Yeah, you.
You got me confused with somebody else.
You're a pro with new do-it-yourself AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
But
You know where to find the hood?
That thing up front?
Exactly. AC Pro's easy, fast, and saves you money. You'll have your car's AC blowing cold air in minutes.
I did it! It's like a freezer in here.
Be a pro with new AC Pro, the 10-minute cold air solution.
Got a sweater?
Hey friends, Bobby Likis here. Did you know that transmissions and differentials don't have a cooling system? That's why upgrading lubricants is critical to the performance and longevity of those hard-working parts. Royal Purple's Max Gear and Max ATF not only reduce operating temperatures, but Max Gear and Max ATF also provide maximum wear protection and free up more torque. Go to royalpurple.com for more information or to find a dealer near you. That's Royal Purple, the performance oils that outperform.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Live from Progressive.
Flo here. Today we're talking to
Newlyweds.
Hi, my husband and I are combining our policies, and my mother-in-law says we can save with Progressive.
Well, with online, homeowners, and multi-car discounts, saving on car insurance is easy.
So you're saying she's right?
I'm saying get used to it.
Get great savings and more at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates, Mayfield Village, Ohio. Discounts not available in all states. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Every year there are over 20 million car wrecks in this country. It's not pretty. But people bang out the dents, rebuild them, and resell them to, well, maybe you, bucko. If you're buying a used car, it's a crapshoot. Get a vehicle history report from Carfax.com. They'll give you the real history on any used car. Visit CARFAX.com or ask your dealer for a Carfax report. Don't buy a used car without Carfax.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to this segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Just remember, every Saturday from 10 till noon Eastern Time, mark your calendar and tune in and call Bobby Likis Car Clinic. The call-in number is toll-free, 888-227-2546. That's 888-CAR Clinic. This segment of Bobby Likis Car Clinic is brought to you by CRC Industries. Reclaim your power with CRC One-Tank Power Renew. Real test, real data, and real results from CRC's One-Tank Power Renew. 888-227-2546. Take a call from Bob. Bob, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Hi, Bobby.
Hi, sir.
You said something earlier today that piqued my curiosity.
Okay.
You were talking to somebody, I don't know what kind of, it seemed like it might have been a truck, but I'm not sure.
The Frontier.
Yeah. What, it recommended high test?
Right.
He was in Ormond Beach. I'm in Ormond Beach, too.
Okay.
And I have a dear friend who has an Audi 2007 A3. It is a turbo.
Right.
And it does recommend high test. And I don't know enough to challenge her on that. Because it's a turbo, is it more of a case for the high test or what?
Absolutely. See, AKI, or anti-knock index, is the property of gasoline that suppresses or allows higher heat and higher pressure before it will detonate. And detonation can damage an engine. It's called pinging. There are two different terms, not to get technical, but just for you to know. Detonation is when the heat fires the fuel before the spark plug does. Pre-ignition, which is much more dangerous, is where you have a glow carbon, something that's glowing in a cylinder, and may fire the fuel mix long before detonation, long before the pressure would be built up in the top of the cylinder, and that can really cause some problems and is destructive of the engine. You'll see cars that have ring lands that are blown away, or the side of the piston that's blown away from pre-ignition. Pre-ignition is not much of a problem in newer cars because we don't have lead in the fuel, and we don't have a lot of lead deposits. We don't have lead deposits, but we do have carbon deposits. So detonation is, as I said, occurs when you have excessive heat and pressure combined, which that's what drives the piston down, and the fuel is ignited prior to the spark plug. Now, specifically, can you take an engine that is manufactured or designed to run high test and run lower octane on it? And the answer is absolutely. And to that end, in my 500 horsepower Viper, I have run in its lifetime, and I did this in succession, 3 tanks of regular 87 octane fuel, because in 2004 during Ivan, we were lucky to get gasoline at all after 3 or 4 days, and it was only one grade, and that was the lowest octane. I drove the car and had 0 problems because I knew better than to go out and drag race the car or put excessive load on it. So, Bob, if you drive a car conservatively, then under no circumstances would you damage, well, more or less, but really, the engine is tuned, and the engine has ping sensors and knock sensors, so the engine will detune itself when it hears a ping long before you do. Here's the challenge with turbocharged cars, because I wouldn't want you to challenge You can challenge all the high octane, high compression car owners you want to. I've got one. I've used it. I know that to be a fact. The problem with using a lower octane in a turbocharged car is you can't control when the turbo comes in because that's part of the function of the throttle opening, and it's controlled by a computer. And to that end, you say, well, doesn't the same control work for a turbo that it would for a non-turbo? And the answer is yes, it works identically the same, except that the turbo immediately has a higher boost than non-turbo because there's a fake blower. There's fake air there. Now, I won't say it's fake air, but there's air pressure and therefore cylinder pressure increase that's created automatically, and your foot has little to do with it because the blower, the turbo is driven by the exhaust. And so would the electronics make up for it and say, oh, wait, it's pinging? And the answer is by all means it would, except that it would be reactive versus proactive. And in a car that has a non-turbo, the chances of having damages almost nil. And to that end, you could take a car without a turbo and that calls for high compression and more than likely increase the MPG on the highway if you are an easy foot person, a conservative driver. Any questions?
Yes, we both definitely are easy foot drivers, but I definitely have experienced that turbo, let's say, getting on the highway, which is an awesome feeling because it's actually, you feel safer because
I agree.
You get where you need to be so much quicker.
Yeah. Well, so the answer is stick with the premium for the turbocharged car, not necessary for the non-turbocharged car. Bob, I have to move on to the next call. And folks, we're just really pleased to have with us Jeff Strom. And Jeff Strom is the director of the Great Race. He's on the road right now. I'm stealing 2 minutes of his time. Jeff, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Where are you? And I know the race ends at the Villages tomorrow, and I'm headed that way this afternoon. But you started last Saturday in Maine when Rain Carini from Chasing Classic Cars called in. What's it been like this week? What's going on?
It's been this is our 8th day. We started in Maine, and we've just been trucking along, and we started with 104 cars. We're down to about 96, which is pretty par for the course for antique cars dating back to 1915 that are racing, 2,100 miles.
How many people are in the entourage of roughly, including the chase cars and the crews?
Well, there's 350 people in our entourage. There's 2 people per car. There's a support crews, and then we have a staff of 32 volunteers it takes to put this on. And right now I'm sitting in beautiful downtown Savannah, Georgia on River Street. A couple thousand people outlining the streets waiting for the first cars to arrive. I think we've had 5 or 6 in so far, and we'll finish up tonight in downtown Jacksonville.
And one quick question. The Great Race, you would think from the name that it's a race, but it's really more about endurance and the race and controlling one's mind. I mean, there's a tremendous amount of mental load. And so explain to just quickly how it works. When are you given the route for the day, and what does that mean?
Well, it is a rally, and we give them the instructions each morning, and the whole idea is to be the most accurate. It's a race in the sense that there's $150,000 in prize money, including $50,000 to the winning team, but it's a race to be the most accurate. They approach secret checkpoints along the way, and they're timed, and for every second, either early or late, they're penalized 1 second. So 10 seconds early is a 10-second penalty, 7 seconds late, 7-second penalty, and so forth. So, and this goes on and on for 9 days, 2,100 miles. Humpy Wheeler, the great NASCAR promoter from Charlotte Motor Speedway,
yes,
and an old racer himself, has told me this week this is the most challenging racing he's ever done because it is an endurance. You got to keep not only an old car going, you got to keep yourself going, and you have to do it accurately. And it is a lot of fun.
And it's rain or shine, right?
Absolutely, but this we've been very fortunate. We've had very little rain, a few showers last couple of days, but beautiful weather. Probably one of the most beautiful that we've had start to finish.
And who helps to sponsor the Great Race?
Well, it's the Hemmings Motor News Great Race presented by Haggerty, and it's sort of our sponsor is the who's who of the automotive world and beyond. Obviously, Coker Tire, Reliable Carriers. We have Best Western is one of our major sponsors, Champion Oil, and the list just goes on and on.
Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for taking the time. I'll let you go. I know you're stealing away a few minutes, but congratulations to having a great race so far. And I look forward to meeting you face-to-face either later on tonight or tomorrow for sure at the end of the great race in the villages. And congratulations on success to date.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff Strum, director of the Great Race, had to let him go there. Very interesting. 97 out of 100, and what do you say, Tony? 100?
It was 104 down to 96.
Down to 96. And that's not bad when you consider that the youngest car in the race is a 1972 model. And so it's got to be 1972 or older automobiles.
Could you imagine driving 2,100 miles in a 1915 automobile? I mean, they're not exactly known for their comfortable ride, I'm sure.
No. And can you imagine you have a flat tire, so you have a checkpoint that's 5 miles down the road, and you have a flat tire, so you know. I know by reading the blog, and we're going to go back to the phone. So Jim in Nebraska, I'm coming to you next, but I know that one person was 24 seconds off the pace, and that person happened to be number 24. Well, he was 23 seconds and had to be number 24th. So 0 seconds late and 0 seconds early to a checkpoint, that's a stretch, man. That's really a stretch.
Does it happen, though, I wonder? I mean, it's happened, right?
Well,
People get perfect times.
Yeah, you get perfect time. Yeah, sure.
What about bathroom breaks?
Huh.
Hold it.
I'm sure there's some provisions as well. Now it's time to take a call for sure. We'll go to Nebraska. Jim, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Thanks for holding. Jim.
A question about a used car that I was looking at for my mother. It's a 2010 Chrysler 300. It's at a dealer that we've done business with before.
Okay.
Are there any glaring problems that they had with that car?
Well, the first thing that I would, before I could answer that, I would highly suggest that you go to alldata.com. You've heard me mention AllData many times on this program.
Yes.
That's a database that we use for technical service bulletins. And here's how I judge, other than our pre-purchase inspection. Number one, you need to have a third party to inspect that vehicle before you write the check, Jim. So that's a must. I mean, even if you've done business with the dealership, you still need to have a third party inspect that. And then you need to go to alldata.com and look for technical service bulletins as well. Hey, thanks for your call. Folks, don't go away. We got Lynn Edmondson coming up.
Fortune 500 companies choose Royal Purple lubricants to protect and improve the performance of their multi-million-dollar equipment. The same high-performance technology is also available for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or ATV. Royal Purple enhances performance and provides superior protection for anything wrapped in metal. Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. For independent tests and endorsements that document Royal Purple benefits, go to royalpurple.com. That's royalpurple.com.
I'm Bobby Likis with today's Drive Smarter tip, brought to you by Escort, the world's best radar and laser detectors. When I say horsepower, you think giddy up and go, right? But it takes twice as much horsepower to bring the vehicle to a stop. Make sure your car's horses have the power to whoa as well as to go. Have your brakes checked regularly by an automotive professional. This Drive Smarter tip is brought to you by Escort's Passport Max, the first and only all-digital detector with HD radar performance. Don't just drive, drive smarter. Escort.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Another great place to use Visa.
They giggle and jiggle, they jump and they sing, they poke and they play with most wondrous things. That's just the parents. At Creative Kid Stuff in Minneapolis, you'll find the most enchanting toys and games for kids of all ages. But if you want to bring home their innovative playthings, you better bring your Visa card. Because at Creative Kid Stuff, you can let your child's imagination run wild, but you can't use American Express. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
There are over 358 million trillion gallons of water on Earth. But not all water is created equal. Only 1/1000% is filtered naturally beneath the Earth, with a distinct balance of minerals, and emerges crisp and refreshing enough to be called Zephyr Hills. Zephyr Hills 100% natural spring water, born better.
You, my friend, have connections in the government. Yes, you. USA.gov, the official source for government information on thousands of topics. And like any good connection, there's no telling where it can take you. Why, one day you're getting student loan information. Next thing you know, you need job hunting tips. Today's road construction info could have you searching for telecommuting ideas tomorrow. The more you use USA.gov, the more uses you'll find for it. Passport applications, for example. They've been known to lead to a sudden interest in travel advisories. Our new mobile apps will even update you on the go. So whether you have information to get or ideas to give your government, check out USA.gov. Who knows? Lottery results today could lead to retirement planning tomorrow. USA.gov. With the right connections, there's no telling where you can go.
And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Great show today. Let's shift gears, no pun intended, and go just a little bit sideways into the two-wheel world. In the meantime, Jan will take your calls at 888-227-2546. That's 888 Car Clinic. And now joining us on the hotline is Lynn Edmondson, one of the top bike builders. You heard me right, folks. Bike builders in the nation and star of the new History Channel show, Bike Battleground Phoenix. Can't wait. Some great information. I want to welcome for the first time a bike builder to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Lynn, glad to have you in the house.
Thank you, Bobby, for inviting me.
I understand you owned and operated a successful construction business in Canada for 30 years. Share with our Car Clinic listeners and viewers, how'd you wind up in Phoenix as part of the Biker Battleground Phoenix?
It's not a very long story, actually. Phoenix is the hotbed for the bike industry, and in particular the custom baggers. And that's not just a new thing in the industry, but it's what I would say it's an impact play in the industry, and it's going to be here for a long time. So we manufacture parts, and we build the bikes as well. So, if we build a bike for someone, we're using all our own parts to complete the build. So we were operating out of Canada, Vancouver, BC, and 83% of our business was in the U.S., so it just made sense for us to get down and get into that demographic, which is really our market. In the USA, there's 360 million people. In Canada, there's 38 million.
Well, that explains a lot. What is it about Phoenix that's so appealing for bike builders and owners, or do you know the history?
It's really a no-brainer to answer that. There's riding here 12 months out of the year. There's little rain, so it's unobstructed, and the only downtime for riding would be this time of year when the temperature gets up around 110. But even then, you see bikes out at night all the time. So they're riding 12 months out of the year, and there's not too many locations in the world where you can do that.
Well, we're talking with Lynn Edmondson, star of the new History Channel show, Bike Battleground Phoenix. Lynn, share with our Car Clinic listeners and viewers what's hot right now among the bike customers, choppers, cruisers, baggers. Give us the inside scoop on what you're building and where your orders are taking you.
Yeah, well, in 2008, our country and the world went into the worst depression ever. So disposable income was just not there, and the chopper and the pro street and the bobber type market, it died overnight because people just couldn't justify spending money on something that wasn't as practical. So builders like myself switched gears at that point. We started customizing the Harley-Davidson baggers, which just lent itself to a more practical and more usable product. So someone can justify, hey, look, I'm going to dump some money into this. I'm going to get a custom bike, but I can ride across the country in it. You know, I can take my wife out on it. It's not like the chopper I had over the last 10 or 12 or 15 years that was really my bike. They're very practical, and I think when you look at them and you see what we're building and the parts we're manufacturing, it lends itself more to a performance upgrade of the bike. So it would be like having a second car. If you're driving a domestic and you would get into an exotic, that's the difference between the two.
I understand. I also understand that custom bike building is a big business. Quick question, competition's pretty intense among bike builders there in Phoenix. Is that business as cutthroat as some have claimed?
Well, there's two different segments to the market. You got the builders, and then you got the builders that manufacture parts. And there's not that I'm aware of, there's anybody out there that's manufacturing complete line of parts unless they're actually building as well. And that comes back to the form, fit, and finish. Like what we would do is we would take Harley's parts, we do a 3D scan on it, we take our prototypes, do a 3D scan on that, and we put it together on a program called SolidWorks, which gives us the exact form, fit, and finish to go back to the Harley. And all our molds, like if it's for body parts, all our molds are CNC cut at that point. So every piece that we make is precision fit to go on the Harley. So there's hardly a product we make where there's an installation guide. It's take a bolt out, put a bolt back in when you're putting our parts on. It's that clean. Then we would manufacture all the fit and finish products like the CNC footboards, controls, you know, on and on.
On and on, yeah. That sounds like you've made some really interesting. We're talking with Lynn Edmondson, star of the new History Channel show, Biker Battleground Phoenix. Where can we tune in? I know it's on the History Channel, but how many times a week?
The show airs this Tuesday, July 1st at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's 10 episodes. We're not done filming. I think the 10th episode will be filmed in Sturgis, South Dakota, at the rally there. But it was pretty intense. From basically February 1st through to 2 weeks ago, it's been the 5 shops, 5 production crews in their shops every day, following every move we make, any event we go to, they've been following it. So it's a really creative show. I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen the teasers, you know, the commercials that have been on TV, but they've put an intense amount of effort, and by that I say History Channel, into the program. So I think you're going to find that it's going to be a really entertaining program. It'll air every Tuesday night, starting next Tuesday for the next 10 weeks.
Wow. What's a good website so that our viewers and listeners can check you out?
It's AZKickerCustomBaggers.com. AZZKIKR. CustomBaggers.com.
CustomBaggers.com. Lynn Edmondson, star of the new History Channel show, Biker Battleground Phoenix. I certainly thank you for your time. It's nice to have you on Bobby Likis Car Clinic. As always, you just add another bit of information that our listeners and our viewers will be interested in learning about. Again, that's AZKickerCustomBaggers.com, AZZKIKR, CustomBaggers.com. Lynn, thanks so much for joining us on Bobby Likis Car Clinic. We'll be watching, and thanks for taking the time and sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Bobby. Thanks for inviting me to the show.
And, you know, our team really loved that. I know that Brian O'Neill, who rides a Harley, was tuned in.
I think he rides a Triumph.
Oh, wait, no. He sold that Harley. That's right. He got a Harley from his dad. You're right, Tony. And now he has a Victory. Yeah. Oh, Victory's beautiful bike. I'll tell you the most gorgeous bike, I think, and I've never seen one in up close and personal, but it's a live wire. Really, really beautiful bike. Let's take a call from Ted. Ted in Kansas. Welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
How you doing, Bobby?
I'm fine, thank you. Very busy. Great show today, and I'm glad that you called and tuned in. What can I do for you?
Okay, I've got a 2005 Dodge Ram 3500 4x4. Now, when you first start it in the morning, if you get in it and start it and let it run for a couple minutes, then back up and drive, it will not shift. It will not shift out first gear. You have to drive almost 4 miles before it will get out first gear.
Okay.
But if you get up and start it and let it run for 20 minutes, then you go out and you get in it, it'll shift all the gears except for overdrive. It refuses to go into overdrive. The transmission went bad in it in 102,000 miles. I've got 153,000 miles on it now, but it won't. Like I said, if you get in and I pull a trailer with it at all times. It's hardly ever without a trailer behind it. But if you get in and go, it won't shift for about 4 miles, and then after you start it, and you know you're going to be going with it, you start it early, about 20 minutes, so let run, and then it'll shift.
Well, you know, Ted, here, I'm the bearer of bad news here. I sincerely believe that you have an internal transmission problem. And the reason that I sincerely believe that is that the temperature that is increased in the seals, that means the pliability of the seals in the transmission, after it runs 20 minutes, is about the only thing that would change. Having said that, there are some there's the transmission control module. There are connections at the throttle position switch, engine speed sensors. There's a lot of, on the electronic side, there's every reason in the world to check the electronics. However, I don't think the electronics would change every time if you let it idle 20 minutes. I think that is a seal. Now, one thing you can try, and I don't know the best one to share with you, is I would try a seal softener. And there are the only way you can buy a seal softener is to put a transmission conditioner in it. That's a seal softener. There are companies that make stop leaks, and those stop leaks contain seal softeners, and actually it's naphthenic oil, and naphtha is a solvent. A solvent causes seals to swell. So the trick is, how much of this stop leak do you put in? And the even trickier part is, what stop leak do you buy? Because it's up to the manufacturer to formulate the amount of stop leak or the amount of naphthenic oil that's in naphtha that's in the stop leak. So the first thing I would do for you is I would recommend that you change the transmission fluid. Even if you've had it changed, change it and make sure that you change it with an engine that is running, and so you have that machine that hooks to the cooler lines versus dropping the pan. And then I would add a conditioner to the transmission, and that's what I would do initially before I would spend any money replacing parts or going into the transmission. You got it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So just go ahead and pull the transmission filter out, and then change the fluids in it.
Well, you don't need to change the filter. If the fluid's not burned, you can leave the filter alone. You don't have to open the transmission up at all. You can do this externally and have a shop that has the machine and do it externally and use an upgrade to a synthetic fluid, which is a great to do. Were it my vehicle, I would put Royal Purple synthetic transmission fluid in that transmission, because the Royal Purple already has sealer conditions and seal conditioners, rather, that's in it. Plus, it's a better, superior grade lubricant, and you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain except for a couple of $100 investment in the changeover or in the exchange of fluid. So that's what I would do, and let me know how that works for you. If it solves your problem, I'll be your hero and save you $3,000.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, thank you, Bobby.
Appreciate it. Thank you for calling for Kansas. Appreciate that. Okay, folks, it is time to pick a lucky listener to win the AC Pro prize package, and whoever wins will win an AC Pro golf shirt, beverage koozies, and an AC Pro hat. And also, Tony, aren't we going to throw in a car clinic prize as well?
Yeah, I think we could give away a car. I think it's like an Audi or something, you know?
No, yeah, an Audi, a mouse Audi, yeah. It's a really neat. So it's an electronic car, take you anything. Miss Jan, you can come in. She's patiently standing. And for those of you who tuned in to watch Bobby live.
Which side you want?
This side's fine.
Let's get Jan to lean down. Nobody ever sees her face.
Nobody ever
Here
sees
to lean down.
There you go.
Hi.
Hi. So, Wave, that's Miss Jan. That's the lady that you call in. And the winner of the AC Pro prize pack is Andy from Ormond Beach, Florida. Yay! Listening to WNDB 1150 AM right there in Daytona Beach. Andy, congratulations. You have won the AC Pro giveaway prize. And folks, we have another caller. I'm going to take still time to get one more call. Richard, you're patient. Thank you for holding. You are now on the air.
Hello.
Hello, you're on the air, sir.
Yes, Bobby. I guess I can use 87 in my Z06 2003 based on your comment earlier. That was just a side note, not what I called about.
Well, you definitely can. It's not something you'd want to do all the time because if you feel like you want to get in the throttle, you don't want the engine to be detuned. But make no mistake about it, conservative driving, the engine will not see any load of the pistons that requires the higher AKI index.
Yeah, it's okay. I appreciate that. Was just a side comment.
Okay, great.
The car is about a 99 Camry 4-cylinder. The car sat for about 2 months, battery dead, and the whole 9 yards. Put a brand new battery in it, and the key fob, which is aftermarket, and Toyota should be absolutely fine for that because, as I understand, they go into a car lot back at that time, and they put all these anti-lock things on them.
Right.
When it's on mine, you can't even buy it anymore, and they're out of business. So, and I've talked to Toyota and another guy in the business.
I got your answer.
Cut it?
No. Go to a local auto lock, to a company that like in Pensacola, Ace Unlocks.
Okay,
Here's what you need to know. A company that routinely is called to unlock your doors has to be bonded, and they also have to have from the car maker the subscription certification that allows them to download codes. This is especially true for later model automobiles, but since yours is a 96 and up, it will have the same onboard OBD2 generation computers. So you can go to a company in your local town that handles that particular, unlocks doors, and they can create for you a key fob, and they can code that key fob to your car. And if they can't do it, I would trust them to either replace the unit with one that they may or may not sell, or check with an aftermarket company in your town. But the first thing to do is to call a lockout company there in your hometown. That's what we've done. Folks, that's all the time we have today. Headed to the Villages for the great race. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next Saturday, 10 till noon Eastern Time. Bye-bye. I got it.
Bobby Likis Car Clinic is a copyrighted presentation of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated and may not be reproduced or rebroadcast without the express written approval of Car Clinic Productions Incorporated.
I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Upon EPA approval, advanced ethanol production from grain sorghum will give the nation another option as it aims to meet the federal goal of producing 36 billion gallons of renewable fuels per year by 2022. I'm Bobby Likis, calling all technicians with 20 facts about ethanol. Brought to you by the Renewable Fuels Association. Drive to ethanolrfa.org.
Fortune 500 companies choose Royal Purple lubricants to protect and improve the performance of their multi-million-dollar equipment. The same high-performance technology is also available for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or ATV. Royal Purple enhances performance and provides superior protection for anything wrapped in metal. Royal Purple is the performance oil that outperforms. For independent tests and endorsements that document Royal Purple benefits, go to royalpurple.com. That's royalpurple.com.
You're listening to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Driving a cab in this town can drive you nuts. It's like hurry up and wait. Last week, I'm stuck behind a bus on Broadway when that pastrami on ride catches up with me. Ooh, heartburn big time. Guy in the back seat says, "Here, take a Zantac 75. I say, "What are you, a doctor?" And he says, "Yeah."
Zantac 75 relieves heartburn anywhere, anytime.
A real gentleman, that doctor.
Zantac 75, the heartburn relief doctors trust.
Hi, Tom Bodette from Motel 6. Baby boomers ain't babies anymore. Ties as wide as your belly are out. So are bell-bottom pants. Oh, wait, bell-bottoms are back in. Well, spending more money than you have to is still definitely out. So save money, stay at Motel 6, and get with the times. And before you go making fun of your kid's haircut, you might want to check out your old yearbook. Talk about what goes around comes around. I'm Tom Bodette from Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.